I just wanted to share something that I just read in the Bible with you guys. I was in Leviticus looking for something in particular, and I came across this verse in Leviticus 19, verse 14. And it's when, in context, God is giving all these different commands for how he expects the people to behave and stuff, and the rules for their nation. Okay, and in the midst of this, he says, "Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shall fear thy God. I am the Lord." And I'm going to read that verse one more time, but I just want you to notice how he's talking about the disabled here. And this is the Old Testament. A lot of people think that in the Old Testament, God was more like harsh and, stringent and, whatever, pronouncing curses on people or whatever. But then in the New Testament, it's like, oh, but in the New Testament, Jesus is so kind and loving and stuff. Dude, it's the same God. So whatever we see in Jesus is beautiful because that's the same God of the Old Testament. And so let me read that verse to you guys one more time, okay? "Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shalt fear thy God. I am the Lord." So the thing that I noticed about it, first of all, it says, "Thou shalt not curse the deaf," and that makes me think about, because why would they do that, right? Why would they curse the deaf? That makes me think about in the New Testament when the disciples asked Jesus, "Was this man born blind because of his sin or because of the sin of his parents?" And Jesus said it wasn't because of either one; it was so God's glory could be shown, right? And so that shows like this common misconception. And honestly, I don't think it's just in Israel that this kind of idea is out there. Like, oh, somebody's got this situation because of their sin. Okay, there's a place for that. Like for instance, there was the man by the pool, and Jesus healed the lame man there, and then he told him, "Now stop sinning, or something worse may happen to you." Okay, so it's not like that doesn't happen, but to assume that because somebody is disabled or somebody has a situation like that, it must be because they have some kind of sin. It's not of God. That is not the way God looks at things, obviously. And I know we've experienced stuff like this in our family because of when I was pregnant with Eleanor, and she was born blind, and even when we were pregnant and stuff, like there were some really kind and compassionate people, but there also seemed to be like this looming judgment, where people are like, "I wonder what they did to, have that happen," kind of a thing. And it's not somebody's sin that makes this happen, guys. God just makes people this way, which is another verse actually. He says, "Who makes eyes deaf and eyes blind, or ears deaf and eyes blind?" He's like, "Is it not I the Lord?" Okay, that's in the Old Testament too. I'll have to find that verse and I can put it in the description. But he makes people this way for his purposes on this earth. And I just think that that's beautiful. So he says, "Don't curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind." Imagine what that would look like, right? A blind person is trying to make their way down the road and somebody puts something in front of them so they can trip over it. Like, what kind of evil are we talking about here? And then he says, but shalt fear thy God. I am the Lord." So he's summing it up with like, don't do these things because you should be fearing me, because I'm the one who made these people. So I think that that's amazing and beautiful that even in the Old Testament that God shows himself to be such a God of compassion and kindness, that he takes time in the middle of all these laws to be like, "Hey, make sure you watch how you're treating these handicapped people." Okay, he's the one that makes them, and he cares very much. I just thought that that was beautiful, and I wanted to share that with you guys. If you see other verses in the Old Testament in particular, who that talk about maybe compassion, or how he wants us to have compassion on the handicap, or maybe the poor, or something like that, feel free to put them in the comments so we can all be blessed by the reading of God's word. Okay, God bless you guys.